Hey guys, today we're gonna speak with Tom. He's a really cool creator from Britain who moved to Spain, and today he's gonna tell us how in 2 years he managed to build a really cool community and also some tips of him as a creator for you to create better content. Hi guys, today we're with Tom. He's a really cool creator. I'm gonna let him intro himself. So Tom, tell us a bit about, without going too deep, tell us a bit about right now.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's your account? What's your handle?
Yeah, so my name's Tom Hopcroft. My handle is Tom Charlie Design everywhere. But I also have a brand called GUIRIS DE MlERDA, and I like to call myself a professional guiri. So guiri is like a tourist kind of thing here in Spain, especially from North Europe. So I call myself a professional guiri because my content is kind of about an English person or a guiri in Spain and everything that I get up to, from building my business here in Spain to kind of everyday things like having just street conversations.
Yeah, typical things when you're, let's say, an immigrant. Because I'm not from here, but I've been here for 15 years, but I also feel like anyone that helps me with things about Madrid, I really appreciate that type of content.
So so I do stuff like that, kind of helping. The stuff that I do is in between lifestyle commentary, kind of talking about like my experiences here in Madrid, but it's not super. I'd say people often find my content when they're moving to Madrid because they're looking for things to do and stuff, but that isn't really the content that I do. I don't do like best restaurants in Madrid or anything like that. It's really just documenting the stories of creating GUIRIS DE MlERDA and the events that we do and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like how you've managed to grow a community around it.
Yeah.
So from that content, being able to gather the people and everybody give value to each other, I think that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the world is going now with communities. But before we get into more deepness, I wanted to ask you, do you remember your first post or your first content? And tell us a little bit of how you started, how was that click?
Dude, okay, so it depends. So there's like two different genesises of my content basically. So the first one would have been about, I'd say 2.5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago now. My best friend here in Madrid, he was like to me, Tom, we should do a reaction channel on YouTube. This is going way back. I'd never done any content before and I was really against it. I was like, no way, I do not want to be like a dickhead content creator. And especially doing reaction content, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. But he kind of kept pestering me. And in the end, I was like, okay, fine. But if we do it, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to record once a week. We're going to make sure we release at least one video a week, and we're going to do it the right way. We're not going to kind of half-ass it, you know. So for the first, so we kind of did that. We had a little home setup. It was nothing crazy elaborate. We were recording on our phones, but we had two phones going at the same time. We had the laptop in front of us, and we reacted to all sorts of stuff. But we started reacting, we kind of found a mini niche of like two guiris reacting to Spanish content.
Yeah.
In fact, that's, as a side note, that's where GUIRIS DE MlERDA initially came from. Like, not a lot of people know that, but that's where it first came from, the name at least. Anyway, so we did that for a year and it pretty much got zero traction. We got up to 1,000 subscribers, but it got like zero traction. It wasn't very good at all, but that was my first foray into content.
Okay.
After that kind of broke down because we weren't really getting like any views or anything like that. And like he decided that he wasn't so much into the content, but it kind of sparked my interest in content and it removed all the fears of being on camera and putting something out there and all the embarrassment. And so I started doing my own content after that. And my first video talking to the camera alone, I've done all sorts of types of content, but when I first started doing short form anyway, this was about 2 years ago now, just over. I was doing about design-based content because before creating content, I was a designer, like a web designer, UX and that sort of stuff. And so my first video ever was a video about UX, and I looked into the camera and the lighting was awful, everything was awful, and like I was so unnatural. Even though I've been filming for pretty much a year with my friend, it was a different dynamic. Speaking to a friend and literally speaking to no one is a really different dynamic. And I still have the video up on my TikTok right now because I started on TikTok.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, you should. And it's just awkward. It's really awkward, it's ugly, but it got better pretty fast, I think. Yeah. So
I think that's one of the things that you overcome as a creator. Yeah. There's one thing to talk to another person, but focusing on the lens of the camera, that's something you need to master.
It's because, for me, it's you remove all the humanness from it. Yeah. So you want to speak to the camera like you're speaking to like we're speaking right now. Or really you want to speak to the camera, in my opinion, like you're speaking to your best friend. You know, if you can speak to the camera like you speak to your best friend and you can be that natural, you'll come across, like it resonates with the person on the other side of the lens. Totally. But that's hard to do.
But it's a thing of what's on, what's off. You gotta do it and do it. And one day it's just like, I lost the fear. Finally. Was there somebody that you look up at, as a creator, like, hey, I love this guy, the content of this guy or these people, and I would love to do something like that? You had a channel or somebody?
Yes. So I mean, I've always been a big consumer of YouTube. It's like, I don't make stuff for YouTube, even though, as we were saying off camera before we started rolling, I'm gonna start doing YouTube stuff too. But all the people that I really, really like are like more long form creators. So I love people like Casey Neistat is just such an obvious one. Like everyone loves Casey and he's just like a genius at storytelling. And I like creators like this that tell really good stories. I quite like a guy called Zach Aslop or Zach Alsop or something. He's like an English guy. He's one of these guys that just has these crazy ideas. Like I got my granddad into Paris Fashion Week. That's the kind of, you know what I mean? That's the kind of concept of the video. And he does stuff like tricking the media or like sneaking into festivals, this kind of stuff. I just think he tells a story really well and he's built like a really cool business around that where he has a team, he has a warehouse, and I love that kind of stuff. I love people like, there's like kids that are making videos now, like Sickos. I don't know if you ever heard of them before.
No.
Sickos, they're kind of like, I would imagine if you were gonna say, to describe them, in one sentence, it's like Jackass if they were like in their teens, like teens or early 20s, and they all are like amazing at all extreme sports. So that they're really young kids, but they make weekly videos, and I don't know, for me it's kind of like what I was saying before. What's amazing about them is you can see there's like 10 of these kids, they've got like a dream and they're just making it happen together, you know what I mean? It's like they're probably not getting paid that much. They've started to have some traction now, but they're probably not getting paid all that much, but it doesn't matter because every day is like, they're not working either, you know what I mean? They're living a black.
All the advantages.
Yeah, they're completely, they're living their dream life, and even if they're just breaking even, it's fine. So
I think I've seen a lot of people that when you give it too much thought on the process, maybe either you don't do it or you take too much time to do it.
Yeah.
But there's people that are just fearless, or maybe they just don't know what's the world out there. They just do it, and they actually are the ones that sometimes they get more successful than the others.
So to answer your question, I think like someone like Casey, for example, would inspire me for like just storytelling. I love the way he tells stories, like so visually, you know. These Sickos guys, I love just it was kind of, they inspired me, even though I'm 32, they're like the youngest one's like 18, but they inspired me still because they just showed me like, fuck, life doesn't have to be about like punching in, punching out of your 9-to-5 job. If you like that, then great. But for me, I was like miserable doing that, and I was like, I looked at these kids, I'm like, these kids can do it. I'm only 10 years ahead of them, you know what I mean? Like I can change stuff still. So they kind of inspired me too, just to actually like pursue a life that I want to live, you know what I mean, and have a blast while doing it. So
no, amazing. One of the things that I think it's really awesome that you can learn from these guys, one is the narrative, the narrative power, because you really have to learn how to tell stories.
Yeah.
I think for me that's something that keeps me more engaged than the actual video.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can have like amazing shots, but if the story is not well thought or well said, there's not so much engagement.
For sure.
And the other thing is that I really admire of a lot of creators is consistency.
Yeah.
So
true.
I wanted to ask you about consistency and how do you deal with that?
Consistency is a tough one because, so for me right now, for example, when I first started, turn the clock back 2 years when I first started, I've got nothing but time. I'm working a full-time job, but I work remotely, and I can finish my work pretty concisely, you know what I mean? I had time in the day to work on my social media stuff, basically. When I first started, I had so much drive and I was posting multiple times a day because I wanted to find stuff that would hit. This was back 2 years ago as well, when on TikTok. I feel like on TikTok now, the platform's changed a little bit and stuff doesn't go viral for no reason quite as much as it used to. But back then, like all my videos were going viral, like loads of stuff was going viral, and it was super exciting. So I was posting as much as possible to get as much growth as possible and just to see what would work, and I was super inspired. But of course, after a while, even if you're getting that many views forever, like you kind of reach a plateau, right? So where your motivation kind of wanes a little bit. And so for me, my consistency went down, if anything, because you can't post 3 videos a day forever anyway, you know what I mean? You go crazy. And so over the past 2 years, I went down to, I went from posting multiple times a day to posting every day, and then posting every day to posting 5 times a week, and then posting 5 times a week. And I did that for like a year and a half, 5 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I post a video, CLC, you know, it was happening. And then now I'm like, I've given myself a lot more kind of leeway. So for me now, I much more prioritize, I mean, I've got lots of things to balance at the same time with the community and stuff like that, but I try to prioritize trying new things, making content that I'm proud of, and kind of make stuff that excites me, But I don't know, with the consistency thing, sometimes you just have to force yourself. It's really hard, you know what I mean? Like, so there's some days where I don't feel like making a video, you know? On those days, I think you kind of have to force yourself a little bit. I feel like to re-inspire myself sometimes, I'll have a change of scenery. I'll go away somewhere. I'll go back to the UK for a weekend, or I'll go somewhere else, or try and change my environment a little bit. And I think that can help with consistency as well, because it helps with inspiration. And when you feel inspired, you can boom, boom, boom. You start wanting to create things again. But the reality is, as a human, your consistency will probably go up and down because your motivation will go up and down. But if you're going to take content creation seriously, the reality is you have to post content. You've got to be there. You know what I mean? You've got to be there, especially with short form. As you said before we started rolling, it gets to a point with short form where the videos will stop getting shown to people after a certain amount of time. So you have to always be showing new stuff. For me, what I have to remind myself of is, like, not every video has to be this big task of like editing and vlogging, and you know, videos can be small. Like, I got a haircut last week and I literally like made a little quick clip together, and like that video did better than the big vlog that I put like 3 hours into editing, you know what I mean? And for me, they're for different reasons. The haircut video is just to kind of be there on the timeline and kind of provide a mood, or like someone watches it and they're like, oh cool, there's an easy transformation. The guy before has long hair and then it's like, how is he gonna look at the end, but also provide like a fun mood throughout the video. But the vlog is for someone that wants to kind of understand what I'm doing on a deeper level and wants to hear me talk and kind of follow the journey a little bit more. So they serve different purposes as well.
You know what would be intriguing? I've seen that some videos, like you say, like the haircut, they actually get more views, but they don't bring as many followers as the ones that are your true value and your core. It could have less views, but you have a better conversion rate. Let's say you get more followers. The true fans. I call them the crazy fans because, with all the respect, but the crazy fans, if you change platform, they follow you. The ones who follow you because of the haircut, the most probably
definitely not. Just to add up one more point onto that, with the crazy fans, the best combination is when you hit the best of both, right? When you get a video that kind of gets viral views, and it's like, for me, I did like a skate. I saw that. I had this big adventure skateboarding through Spain earlier this year, and one of the videos didn't go viral, but it got like 800,000 views on Instagram and like something similar on TikTok. And so for a longer form, 1 minute and a half, well, longer form for a short form video, it was 1.5 minutes storytelling based video without like a clear hook or anything like that. For a video like that to get 800,000 views for my content especially was crazy, and the conversion was crazy. I got like 10,000 followers from it, just from that one video. So if you can get both, it's like what do they say? It's like Stardust or whatever. It's like, this is like really hard to get. So every video after that, I was trying to optimize to make it similar to that video. But it's hard to land on those.
The golden nugget. They say that if you have a niche, don't go so niche, but also don't go so abroad. Like, try to find something in the middle. And when you hit that spot in the middle, that's when magic happens. And I wanted to ask you a little bit so there's a little bit about planning, but there's a little unplanned completely. How you do it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
On the planning process, can you tell us a little bit how do you come with the ideas, and if you set up the dates or whatever you can say?
So it's difficult. So like I feel like my content, I've only been creating content for 2 years basically, and I feel like over that time it's changed so much. So from when I started out doing content, I was making design-based content, UX design content, and for the first few months I was doing that completely. You know what I mean? I was doing portfolio reviews. I was planning out like web design, fast forward montages, all this kind of stuff. And then what that kind of transformed into is what I do now, which is kind of lifestyle stuff in Spain. So there are some videos that, yes, I can plan. For example, let me think of one recently. There are some videos, I guess like this haircut video, is a video that you can plan. I know I'm going to get a haircut. I know there's going to be a clear transformation, because like storytelling is about transformation, right? You start here, you finish here. How has the character changed in between? So for that one, it's an easy one to kind of plan out. But usually what I kind of like to do is, because a lot of my videos will have just kind of be like voiceover style stuff. So if it's not a vlogging based video, which is just telling the story of the day or of an event that we did, and I'm speaking about something more conceptual, I might talk about, there's videos where I've talked about the concept of entretiempo here in Spain, you know, when they say like the weather, it's just that kind of, that you get 2 weeks a year here in Madrid where it's not cold enough and it's not hot enough, you don't know what to wear. So there's videos like that I've planned out and I've wrote a script for before, and they're the easiest to edit get it, to be honest, because I go out, I walk around Madrid, and I like do one line here, go over there, one line over there, go to Retiro, do one line there. You know what I mean? And those are easy to plan out beforehand, but they're probably not my most favorite. My most favorite style of content is, like you said, it's the unplanned stuff. I love to do the vlog stuff. I love walking. When I did this adventure through Spain on a skateboard, this was amazing for me because it's like every single day I didn't know what I was going to do, and that's where you get the story. Every day I had to find the story, you know. All I knew is that I was going to skateboard into the town wherever I slept one night, and I'd leave the town the following day and walk in the other direction, and there's like a certain amount of like romance in that simplicity, you know. And I knew that in that day I've got to find the story. So if I arrived to the next town and I knew there wasn't a story, then I better start speaking to people. I better do something, you know what I mean? I better go to the bar, order a beer and a pincho, and start trying to strike up conversation.
Talking about what happened.
Exactly, and start figuring out what the story for that day is going to be, or maybe the story for that day, if there hasn't nothing much went on, maybe that is the story, you know. There's sometimes that can be the story too. Like sometimes in life it's like a reflection style thing. Sometimes in life you don't have it's not all ups and it's not all downs. Some days it's just in the middle, and that's okay too, you know what I mean? So maybe that's the story of that particular day.
I really like planning. On my side, I really like planning, but I've had both things, like completely unplanned things. If you know how to attack them, they work like crazy.
Yeah.
And planned things usually tend to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, but well, every time you do it, you just learn how to do it better. I had one video that went super viral, and it had a really a great conversion rate.
Yeah.
But it took me 3 weeks to shoot it, a short form one.
Oh wow, okay.
3 weeks, dressed the same, in different parts of Madrid.
Damn.
Actually, what made it viral was that people thought that I did everything in one day.
Okay, wow.
But it actually was 3 weeks, and people like, it's impossible you did that in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was so much process involved, and editing, and hours and hours and hours.
Okay, wow.
So I wanted to ask you also about challenges you faced in the process. Maybe in the beginning, in the middle, or right now as a creator.
Challenges I've faced. So I think when it comes to monetization, obviously this can always be a challenge for people, especially with short form. If you got long form content, there's more clear paths to monetization because YouTube will directly pay you. Not that like Meta doesn't. Like on Facebook, I've been directly paid by Meta, but it's not as much, and like it's not as consistent either. Like 1 month could be more, and the next month could literally be nothing.
Yeah.
So I think monetization was a challenge for me. Luckily, when I started doing content, I was doing design content, and this is a niche that there's lots of like boot camps around that they take a lot of money from people when they sign up for the boot camp, so they'll pay you like quite well. So I started off with quite a good baseline for kind of negotiating brand deals and this sort of thing. But it's true, I think that when it comes to, also don't want to rely like 100% on brand deals either for your income, you know what I mean? Because that's exactly the same. Some months you might get 2 or 3 at the same time, because a lot of brands will work around stuff like Christmas and all this sort of stuff when they want their promotions out. So you can get everything at once, and then you might not have anything for like a few months. So you want something really that, I mean, in my opinion, it took me a while to figure out, but you want to be selling something yourself, either whether it's a service or digital product or physical product, you know what I mean? You want to be able to sell something. So you can create, around your brand, you want to create like a robust business that doesn't go up and down so much with the month, like something like ad revenue might do, or something, well, ad revenue for short form might do. And you want to focus on something that's like a bit more of a robust business. And for me, that was creating like the events company, GUIRIS DE MlERDA, because if it's summer or if it's winter, we've got events, you know what I mean? And if someone's paying me to promote whatever it might be, if I've got a brand deal with Mao or something like this, which could be great 1 month, we've still got events that are running at the same time anyway, you know what I mean? That income's always there. So I think people having, to answer your question, to go full circle, I think the challenge is initially the instability of income when you can become a content creator. People think that when you're a content creator, they think this guy must be rich. But I think that's not really the way. There are some creators that have just cracked the system, and they might have 10k to 30k followers, and they offer such a good service, or they offer something great, and they're so niche and so specific that they're making loads of money. And then you've obviously got on the other side of the spectrum your Logan Paul or your KSI who are making loads of money as well. But I think there's a lot of people in the middle there that they might have even 100,000 followers and they're still working a full-time job. I think there's a lot of people in that category, and you don't necessarily see that when you're kind of scrolling social media. You just assume that they've got everything figured out.
Yeah, I've seen people with maybe 3,000 followers making more money than guys with 100,000 or 200,000.
It's crazy.
You also have to think that if you sell, there's small tickets and there are high tickets, let's say.
Yeah.
If you sell €10, whatever, you gotta sell 100 to reach 1,000.
Yeah.
And if you sell one high ticket of 1,000,
Yeah.
you actually don't need that much
Yeah.
people. You just need one client.
Yeah.
So I've seen those differences.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're focusing, what's your niche, and the funnels you use to sell that.
Yeah. This is something that I need to improve 100% for my business. For example, we have small ticket stuff with GUIRIS de MlERDA. We have small ticket stuff. You know what I mean? We have medium ticket stuff as well because we sell holidays and we go like on group trips. But this isn't something that I can just sell. Like, it takes a lot of planning before. It's a group trip. We sell. You know what I mean? It's not like
and requires you to be there.
I got to be there physically. Exactly. We've got to fulfill it. There's a lot of fulfillment involved with going on a group trip, which, to be fair, this is why I like doing events. It's fun, you know. So the fulfillment of that service is quite fun. However, that's not something. It's not very scalable. Let's say, you know what I mean. If we do 52 trips in a year, that would mean that every single week of the year I'm on a different trip, and that's pretty much the extent that you could scale that if I wanted to be at every trip, which isn't always the case. But yeah, that's something that I need to improve with my own business as well. We've got the medium ticket items, we've got the small ticket items. I don't have those big ticket items, but it's part of the process as well. It's part of the game, you know what I mean? Learning how to build something and to build this robust business behind the content, behind the brand.
Let's talk a little bit about the tools you use on your everyday creator journey. Let's talk a little bit about editing tools or the tools actually to create the content, and also the tools that you use to forward that content on. Like it could be like Linktree that I saw you have it, or so on. But let's start with the for content wise. So
to actually create the content, I think I've got a pretty user-friendly setup. I use my iPhone to record pretty much everything. I've explored with stuff like action cams, like with the Instago 360, all this kind of stuff. But to be honest, I don't carry all that stuff around me, and I've got no desire to always be carrying a big bag full of cameras around. My phone, for what I need right now, it does everything I need to do. I'm not the guy that's thinking about all these crazy angles or trying to get super zoom or all this sort of stuff. I just need my iPhone, and then I can do pretty much everything. And that's number one most important thing, iPhone. I have like a wireless mic that I sometimes use as well. It's kind of like, it's very cheap from Amazon, you know what I mean? Like it does the job. Like for me, I'm much more focused on, okay, can we get the story as good as possible? I don't need to focus as much on the gear and the equipment, because if the story's good, if the story's there, like it's going to get you the whole way. And I've seen that because I've had lots of viral videos that have proven that, you know what I mean? So it's like people will watch it if the story's good, or if you give them a reason to, if you make them feel something, you know. It doesn't matter if you've got the most high-tech camera. So I'm using my iPhone. Sometimes I use a wireless mic, but not even that often, to be honest. I'm just often using my iPhone a lot, because you can always do voiceovers and stuff like that afterwards anyway. So if something isn't clear, you can take over on the voiceover. And then so I'll use to edit DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
I use DaVinci Resolve. That's probably the most technical thing of my setup.
But you take it to desktop and you do it on the desktop.
Yeah, always, because a lot of the vlog style videos, they're too complex. I wouldn't be able to do it on CapCut for sure. Maybe I could, but it would take me twice the amount of time. And for me, I learned to edit on DaVinci Resolve, and I'm pretty quick with it now. And so I like editing on DaVinci Resolve. I've often, if you look at my editing file, there's usually loads of different channels and stuff, and sometimes I'm using little sound effects, and I'm kind of fading in music, fading out music. I'm trying to create atmosphere and that sort of stuff.
Amazing.
So that's why I use DaVinci, and I love DaVinci Resolve for that reason. And I'd say, but then even after DaVinci Resolve, I'll export it to CapCut to add the captions, the multi-language captions. I'll have captions in English, and then underneath I'll have them in Spanish as well.
So you're a pro user in CapCut.
I'm a pro user in CapCut, exactly. So.
And I wanted to tell people, like, paying for tools like that, more than an expense, it's actually a really good investment.
It's a value add for sure.
If you would put the time yourself to add the captions, you can kill yourself. Like
no way.
And CapCut is one button, boom, you have it there.
It's completely invaluable, 100%.
You carry on a light with you?
No.
Or not? Everything is, you try to find the right spot, or?
We're just in the real world. Sometimes I'm in the back of a taxi and it's dark and you got to focus on the captions, I guess, you know, like I just try and keep it like really, I think what I've learned is, so one of the main lessons I've learned was when I did this adventure through Spain. I did a video vlogging every single day, and not one of those videos of me trying to create this perfect story did better than another video I posted in the same time. Of one of the days I was walking and I was thirsty, and I saw an old lady on the porch and I was recording myself. I was recording myself and I went up and I asked the old lady for water and I just kept the camera recording on me the whole time. And she gave me some water and we spoke in Spanish. We had a little bit of an exchange and then I said bye and then I walked off. And then kind of like how you do the intro at the end, I walked around and I was like, what's the hook here? And I was like, Spanish abuelas are the best. Let me show you why. And then I put that at the front of the video, obviously, and it went crazy. It got like I don't know, like millions of views across all the platforms and stuff. Pops up in like little local Spanish newspapers and all this sort of stuff. And it just shows that it's like the more in my experience, the more natural you can be and the more authentic you can be. Like people really appreciate that. You know what I mean? People love to see that authenticity. And that's not to say that the vlogs don't serve their purpose as well, because that's what I love to do. So there's value in doing something just because you love to do it as well, and it connects with people in a different way. But yeah, it's just the fact that like that moment with the abuela, it's just so raw and authentic, and it makes someone feel something. Maybe it reminds them of their nan. Maybe, who knows, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they can tell it's a real life moment, and that's why it just works. So I try, even with the vlogs, to inject as much of that authenticity as I can. I try not to be like, hey guys, now we're gonna go and do this and this and this. I try to keep it authentic, and sometimes that's easier said than done. Sometimes I watch back my video and I'm like, it just doesn't sound natural enough. But it's something that I struggle with my content, you know what I mean? Like I really try my hardest to just take the authentic me and try and present it out there. But that's where the challenge is sometimes. That's what's really hard. Kind of goes back to what we were saying before about just speaking to the lens, trying to be natural speaking to the lens. It's the same sort of thing when I'm doing voiceovers. I try and do a voiceover like I'm speaking to a friend, but sometimes it just doesn't come out that way, and that's the challenge that I have, for example.
Right. Before we go to tools, front camera, back camera, are you don't care?
I'll mix it up. I'll try and use the back camera as much as possible.
Yeah.
But the problem is, well, there's no real problem. I'll try and use it. Yeah, I'll try and use it as much as possible. But sometimes I just feel like front camera. You know what I mean? I'm not super precious about, like as I said, about quality and about equipment. I'm more precious about did I convey the message that I was trying to convey? Is that hooky enough? You know, like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm really focused on.
And what we said before, like doing the story, getting your content, and leaving the intro for the end, it's actually a really great hack, because sometimes you think so much of the hook and then you don't do nothing. Start recording and then you see how you do the intro.
It's also when I'm writing scripts sometimes as well. So oftentimes I'll have an idea. So talking about process and stuff, I'll have an idea, and in my notes app on my iPhone, there's just like hundreds and hundreds of ideas, or maybe even just quotes. Sometimes it's a quote. I'm like, I love that quote. I need to build a script around it, like a voiceover style script. And who knows, the start of it might be like 5 years ago I moved to Spain and this is what I've learned. You know what I mean? Maybe not that generic, but this is the kind of thing that I'm doing. And I'll try and work in this quote that I've heard, or I'll think about something like about 6 months ago I had a video that was quite good short form. I think the kind of concept of the video was something like, what is the Spanish way of life? You know, people always say they come to Spain because they like the Spanish way of life, but I don't think it exists, because for me it's something different to like my Spanish friend number one. It's something different to Spanish friend number two, and like this person might have their family in Asturias, this person might have their family in Andalusia, and you can guarantee they're doing different things. You know what I mean? They're not very similar. And so like I thought that was a good idea, so I'll write a script around that. But often when I have this idea, or I have an idea, I'll start writing a script, and then at the start of the script I thought the hook was one thing, and I'll finish the script and I'm like, this is 2 or 3 ideas here, I need to separate them all out. And so it's that's kind of goes back into the same sort of thing. You can write a script and then you go back to the original hook and you're like, this isn't what the story should be actually. Yeah,
totally. So to wrap up a little, let's talk about tools you use as a creator. What are the insights or the learning lections that you had using one thing or the other?
If you start with like on easy mode, you obviously, the tools you need are like Instagram and TikTok, you know. So once you've got those, I think the first thing that a lot of people add would be like some sort of link in bio. So they go through to a link tree. I've got a link tree, for example, where you can include multiple links. That's all the hack for the link tree is, right? It's like one link and you go through to your dedicated page of, this might be the equipment that I use. These are the links that I want people to see when they click on my link tree. Maybe it's affiliates, maybe it's linking to my website, maybe to my product or service or whatever. So I use Linktree. I use ManyChat.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, ManyChat's like super cool as well. I really like that.
You use the ManyChat AI also, or not? You haven't.
I don't think I've ventured that deep into ManyChat.
Yeah,
what is that?
You have like a basic plan.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's 20, 30 euro more.
Yeah.
You get AI.
Okay.
So you build this like your prototype of person on how you speak and what's
Yeah.
your tone and
Oh,
so
wow.
on.
No way.
And it's crazy, amazing how because there's always people who write
Yeah.
and they break ManyChat.
Yeah.
Like what you thought, no, they're gonna say this and then that and then this and then that.
Yeah.
And suddenly they break the whole automation.
Sure.
If you put AI, it gets it. And maybe if you're doing an event and you wanna say, okay, would you like to come to the 13th or the 20th?
Yeah.
And the person, instead of responding 13 or 20, he says, no, I prefer Friday.
Yeah.
And then the chat breaks.
Okay.
But with AI, it gets it and it books it.
Damn.
And that's amazing. You gotta see that. But
Yeah.
let's not go in the rabbit hole of ManyChat.
Yeah, ManyChat. That's an amazing tool.
Yeah.
I probably only know the surface of ManyChat, to be honest. Pretty much all the automation that I do on ManyChat is like respond. Like if you comment something or if you respond to a story, I'll send you a link or a couple of links. That's pretty much as I do. But I know it's way more powerful and it has more automations. I should get better at them, basically. But yeah, but it's a good tool. It's a great tool.
Whenever you see somebody saying like, hey, comment the word below, for sure they have ManyChat.
Yeah.
But one thing I do a lot is that when I know there are these creators that I look up to, or I think like, man, these guys are really an amazing brain.
Yeah.
I just start on everything they say, like comment this.
Yeah.
And I'm just following how they did all the funnel of ManyChat.
Okay, interesting.
Because there's people who really, really have made a crazy cool funnels on how to do that.
Yeah. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I really love them.
And also, what's a nice hack about ManyChat for someone that wants to get in the DMs of their favorite creator is like
Totally.
because it opens up the DM chat with them, right? So then you open up their DMs and you can message them whenever you want, which is pretty cool too. Kind of annoying actually for a creator if you don't want your DMs opened all the time. But hey, if that's the price you have to pay, it's really good. And it's also worth saying as well that ManyChat is like completely Meta approved as well. So like I was a bit worried initially to kind of give something access to my Instagram and stuff, but it's like completely approved by Meta, right?
Yeah, I don't know the stats, but ManyChat, I don't know how many messages they send on a day. It can be like a crazy amount of millions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also for community wise, do you use some kind of, I don't know, MailChimp, ConvertKit?
Apart from ManyChat and like a link tree, I'm using to manage my newsletter list. I use ConvertKit, or Kit as it's called now. It's been rebranded. I like ConvertKit. That's how I manage we have like within the GUIRIS DE MlERDA, we have like a subgroup of subscribers called the Golden Guiris.
Yeah,
I
saw that.
Yeah, they pay like a monthly rolling subscription. They get certain benefits, access to WhatsApp. They get discounts on the events and all that sort of stuff. I manage all those subscriptions from ConvertKit. And now I was telling you before we started rolling as well, I've just launched the Content Club, which is kind of like a small, not cohort based, it's like a running club, a subscription as well, with like weekly meetings, the kind of classic stuff that you'd expect for content coaching basically. And I'm managing all those subscriptions as well through ConvertKit, although I think there's probably better solutions. There's things like Circle to manage online communities. There's things like School.
Yeah, I love School.
Yeah. I like School. I just had a bad experience with School because I launched a community on it and it flopped. So I was like, and it's like $99 a month. I'm like, I'm seeing this $99 a month coming out. I'm not making any money on this thing. But I agree, it's really, really good. You've got your calendar on there. Like, it's a good tool. You know what I mean? It wasn't the tool's fault. It was my fault why the community flopped. This was about a year and a half ago.
I love the Golden Guiri Golden Ticket concept.
Golden Guiri.
Golden Guiri ticket.
Yeah, Golden Guiri.
I will try, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
I know you have monthly or yearly.
Yeah.
But I will have a high ticket that says lifetime.
Lifetime Golden Guiri.
Yeah. Lifetime, how to say, membership.
Yeah.
400.
Okay.
Maybe just to try it out. Like,
Interesting.
if it happens. If not, well, you try it.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
There's things to try.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a limitation of ConvertKit. I don't think you can do lifetime. If you're doing a subscription, I don't think you can do a lifetime. You'd have to do a separate product. So there's stuff like that, which ConvertKit isn't perfect. And there's stuff like this where I've thought before, like for example, another reason, I don't want to go too deep because it's probably not important, but another reason why ConvertKit's a bit annoying is because when people sign up to become a Golden Guiri, I can't ask for their number. Like ConvertKit it has a standard form and I can't ask for their mobile number, which is super annoying because then it's really hard for me to link their mobile number once they join the WhatsApp community back to their email. So there's some things like that ConvertKit could make my life much easier if if it gave me a bit more flexibility. But
There's also a Stan Store. I don't know if you tried.
You mentioned before.
Yeah, I really like Stan Store. They actually, I saw one thing that I really love about them for loyalty purposes.
Yeah.
You know that on YouTube, once you reach 100,000, a million, and so on, you get plaques. Stan Store sends you the same thing, but like you invoice your first $100,000 or your $10,000, and they send you a plaque to home.
That's cool.
And that's really amazing.
Stan Store, I was under the assumption that Stan Store was just like Linktree, but it's not. It's more.
I would say it's LinkedIn on steroids.
Okay.
Only for creators.
Okay.
Because Linktree businesses, a lot of people use Linktree. It's more wider, and this is creators.
Okay.
Creators only, creators problems, and so on.
Okay. Interesting.
I wanted to ask you, let's move to another thing that I was really curious. I don't know if this is a continuous process for you, or was it at the beginning, or maybe you take it more in account now. How do you play with feedback? Like when you create something, do you usually run it by friends, by some other creators that you think that they could give you really good insights about it?
So if I make a video, for example.
Yeah, when you make any type of content.
Yeah.
Do you run it by other people, or you think you have it?
It's not like I don't run it by other people, but not because I've joined communities in the past where I've done this sort of thing. I don't run it by other people now. I think it's one of those exercises where no doubt I would get a benefit out of it, but for me, kind of like once I view a video as done, it's really hard for me to submit it somewhere and get feedback and then go back and change it, you know what I mean? And oftentimes, I don't know, I'd have to really trust the input of the person giving me feedback, you know what I mean? If it was someone who was like an amazing creator and they're like, this is bad, take out this, then I'd be like, okay, maybe this is worth me going back. However, I've been a part of communities before where the feedback that I've been given, I'm like, I'm not even sure if this guy knows more than me anyway, you know, like I've got this far. How do I trust the person, you know? None of my like direct friends are content creators, for example. I've made friends through content creation, but we don't have that relationship where we'd be submitting videos to each other. And also because I'm not like mega precious about my content, but I do think that a lot of the content that I make, it's not exactly, I don't know someone that's doing content super similar to mine in the fact that, okay, lots of people are doing vlogs. I don't know. I don't see content that's super similar to mine out there, so it's really hard. It would be really hard for me to take feedback from somebody that's not even making my style of content. You know what I mean? Not saying that my content is like crazy unique or anything either. Vlogging isn't something.
It's really niche.
Vlogging isn't something that lots of people do it. You know, lots of people do it. But I think I think there are some vloggers on Instagram. The thing is, vlogging is such a personal thing as well, because when it comes to content and vlogging, how you edit your own vlog, you feel like you kind of put your own like mood into it, you know what I mean? So somebody else's vlog, even if they're really good at vlogging, I wouldn't necessarily want my vlog to be like that. So some people do the whole fast-paced stuff, bam, bam, bam. Some people are like the slow, and there's a guy, I don't know if you know, I can't remember his name. His name's Nolan something.
Nolan Monk.
I'm not sure, he's an American guy.
I think that he worked for Think Media.
No, I don't think so. He's an American dude, and he's a woodcutter. And he doesn't speak, is that him? Same guy? No. And he doesn't speak in his videos, really. He just kind of like he'll stand there in front of the camera and he'll be like, day in the life, like my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. And he just sets a mood with his vlogs. And it's like kind of country boy, American style. And it's like, I love his vlogs, but the style's not mine. So it would be really hard for me to take advice even from him, even though he's awesome, you know.
How do you manage or react to haters? Is it something that you at the end you like? Yeah. Or is it something that it kind of breaks you or frustrates you? Or
I love the haters. I mean, the more hate that I get, like, I've never minded being like controversial, even though my content isn't super controversial. But
but there's always haters.
There's always going to be someone that hates it. You know what I mean? Like I've done videos, like literally this video speaking to an abuela, like it was 99% of the comments were like, oh my God, this reminds me of my dead nan. This is the cutest video ever. All people love the video, you know? And then there's always going to be someone like that just comments something like, I don't know, like another guiri in Spain. Like I saw a comment that was like, great, now they've gentrified our abuelas as well. Like that kind of stuff. And for me, it's funny. And for me, I'll like taunt the haters. I don't give a damn about the haters at all. And if anything, they kind of feed me more, you know what I mean? Yeah. How I like to think of it as well is like, there's no way you can please everybody firstly. That should be everyone's baseline. You're never going to please everybody. And so if the people that you don't please and the people that are going to comment on your video, I imagine you wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this. I would never see a video that I don't agree with on social media and just start hating on the person. So I think the person that does do that is just like sad, you know what I mean? If you're like commenting like on someone's video because you hate them or whatever, dude, just focus focus on your life a little bit. If I don't like a video, I'm scrolling past it like next, you know. I'm not going to take the time to like try and break this person down. So for me, I don't really mind it. I never have. But like you said, I've got friends who like the comments really get to them. They block people. I think in my whole Instagram career, I've blocked like a few accounts ever.
But that must be extreme haters, no?
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, there's been a couple of people that just like if they're constantly in your DMs and stuff, even if they don't make it into your actual like what's it called, open messages, but they're still there constantly. I'm like, oh, this guy just is annoying me day to day. Just comments on everything I do. Those guys, they can get blocked for sure, because it's like, okay, this is like harassment at this point. I just don't want to see them every day.
Yeah.
But I'm not, for the most part, like, yeah, I'd much rather kind of engage, send them a funny GIF or something, and kind of like just do something fun.
But you do respond to them, or you let them be?
I can't respond to all of them, but like I will respond. I'll respond, usually not by like anything written. I'll usually just send like a funny GIF of like someone blowing a kiss or something. You know what I mean? Like it's also an opportunity with your haters to kind of, in my experience, to show your sense of humor a little bit as well. You know what I mean? I think you can convert a hater if you show that you don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. One of the things that I really love saying to haters is like, I really appreciate your comment and the fact that your comment gets this video to more people. And they respond like, is that true? Like, yeah, it's true. And I built like a whole conversation with this guy, and the one that started the hate was the one who actually, I think it was the main responsible of getting that video to go viral.
That's funny.
But like they can take 10 comments in 1 minute, and as soon as you post it. So I think that's kind of cool. It's more like an advice for creators out there. Don't let haters stop you from doing the content.
Yeah, for sure. You're never going to please everybody. And that's the one thing you can be sure of, is that people are not going to like your videos. Some people will like them, some people won't, and you can be sure that some people won't. You know what I mean? So
that's sure.
Yeah, don't let it affect you. Like, all you can do is put content out there that you like, or that you would watch. And even at the start, like you'll always go back and look at older videos and be like, this sucks. You know what I mean? And that's probably a good thing, because it shows that you're growing as well as a creator. So yeah, just don't take it to heart. Try not to be sensitive about it. But yeah, it's never been a problem for me, really.
Right. Well, one final question. If you could go back and give yourself some creator advice, what would you say to you?
If I could go back and create and give myself some advice, it would probably be like, go all in on the community sooner. Because for the first 6 months of me creating GUIRIS de MlERDA, I treated it as just content. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll make an event for the content. I didn't realize that the events and the community is the business, is my business, you know? And also, outside of the business, creating a community is like an amazing thing, like a physical community. Obviously, there's lots of online communities, which are great, and they have their benefits as well. You can be anywhere in the world and be in a community with people like all over the world, which is cool. But for me, what I think is amazing about having a local community is, like, I'm walking down the street and I see people that I've met in my events, and like I have a conversation with them, not as like fans or whatever, but just like as people within who live in my area, who I can some of them I would say friends, some of them are acquaintances, you know, but that's like a super valuable thing for me. Living in a city where I know lots of people firsthand is like such a valuable thing, because, for example, we had a big Christmas party this weekend just gone, so we had like 250, almost 300 people in this bar, and we had like live music. It was super cool. I wanted to dress up as the Grinch for it, so I put in the Golden Guiri chat. I knew one of our Golden Guiris, her name is Mariana, and I knew she's a makeup artist. I was like, can you make me the Grinch for the Halloween, for the Christmas party? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And it's stuff like that. You can lean on the community. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just an amazing, it's something that we don't have much anymore, I feel like, in this internet culture. You don't have like people that you can actually lean on. I think that's one of the main problems in our society right now, especially for like younger people and stuff. It's like the loneliness style thing. So if you can create a local community, for me, that's the thing that is more valuable than the money. I mean, because obviously GUIRIS de MlERDA is a business, and what I do and my events is a business as well. But the value comes from the people, for sure. You know. Yeah,
and actually having, let's say, 200, 300 people, it's more valuable than having hundreds of thousands of followers. Like,
for sure, yeah.
That's the real people who are gonna support you. If you put something out there, they're gonna buy it. it doesn't matter whatever you do. You do a t-shirt, they buy it. You do a cup, they just want to have it because feeling part of the community.
Yeah.
And helping each other out, it's an amazing, and from a point of view, from somebody that it's not local, having that big of a community, I think it's a really huge success.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, so thanks for being here. It was a really cool conversation. I think we're going to help, your advice and your story is going to help a lot of creators out there. Looking forward to where you get in next 6 months, a year.
Thank you.
How your community grows, and happy to be part of it.
Awesome, thank you. It's been a good chat.
Thanks, man.